Hello, this tutorial is for DNS server. Today I will configure the DNS server on Linux machine and I will work on CentOS 7. On that I will configure the DNS server. Basically this tutorial is for production environment, like how we work in company, configure DNS server and make the website live. We will work on live server. In that we have public IP and it will be accessible by anyone, and we will take a new domain and integrate with the server to make it live. Basically DNS server is used to resolve domain to IP address. Like whenever you hit the domain in browser, and then DNS server resolve that domain into IP and send request to that server to get response, and that response we can see as a website output in browser. So for now we required a VPS server, virtual private server, on which we will work. I will take it from AWS. So let's get started. This is live Linux server on which I will configure DNS server. For that we required two packages, bind and bind utils, and through yum install bind and bind utils I will install it. uh, Installation has done. Now let's check the service. Is it running or not? The service is not running. Let's start that. Service is active now. Now we need to make changes in its configuration file, and we have to define the DNS file in its configuration. Open its configuration file and add the any parameter and listen on line to listen 53 port on any interface. And we need to add any parameter also in allow query, so that it will allow server to do query with external request. Now need to define zone file in which we will create records. So liopso.ml is domain name, which I will add in zone parameter to identify. Define the file name in which we will write all the records, a record, txt records. Add the DNS type master. We have this primary DNS server, so we have to define the master. Yeah, and the where named will be our file path, and liapso.ml.db will be file name. Let's create that file. Name.conf is our default template of DNS zones. So let's check the zone parameter, and then we will take its reference in our domains DNS records. I'm copying all the record in liopso.ml.db file. Let's define our domain name. Now need to create NS record. So @ will be indicate our domain name which we have defined in first line liopso.ml, and need to create ns2. Need to create a record of domain name so that our domain can be point on a record server IP. need to we have to check our public IP. I'm checking that. This is my public IP, so I will point our domain with that public IP or server IP. So need to create a record of NS1 and NS2. This record we don't required, so add the ownership on our zone file. Everything is ready. Now restart the service. We are getting some error related misconfiguration. So we didn't add the semicolon in name.conf file. Here add the semicolon. Now restart the service. Again we are facing error. The error is related to zone file configuration. We did not add dot after ns1 and ns2 entry. Now everything is okay. Before creating ns1 and ns2 in its domain control panel, we will check all records from our local end using dig command. Dig ns our domain name, resolving from my local host. It is resolving. A record also resolved. Trying to resolve from external DNS server. It is not resolving. It is showing default name server from where I have purchased. Now need to create ns1 and ns2 record. Here define our public IP. This is child name server. Need to update its main name server record. So we have created in its our zone file ns1 domain name and ns2 domain name. After saving this, we will try to resolve our domain names a record in DNS zone or DNS watch. Our DNS server is resolving IP address. So our DNS server has configured properly. Now I'll try to hit the domain. Before that we need to configure web server as well. I'm installing the Apache web server. Restarting that service, and I will hit that domain in browser. DNS server has configured domain and resolving our IP address. We can see in DNS watch. Thanks for watching.